Hello, everyone. Give everyone a minute to get in here. And as you can see, we have another guest. We have Kelly Raybon and we have Nicole with Patriotic Housewife. Make sure you guys say hello.
Hello.
Check out their channels.
So
and we
great,
have a puppy, of course.
Preston.
Preston.
Oh. I locked my 3 little ones out. They might
I
bark.
have a fly attacking me over here. All right. All right. And for those coming in, obviously, this is a kind of a recap of what Candace went over. And we're actually going to get into some more detail. And we might have some more tips and things that maybe she doesn't have yet.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, I didn't play music this time because when it gets streamed to Kelly and Patriotic's YouTubes, then it copyright hits them because they don't have epidemic sound.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah,
Yep.
thank you so much for sparing us. The
copyright strike.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can just go delete the intro, but you know. Let's see. Hello, Trigger Smart. How's your evening so far? So far, it's been extremely busy. Have some sick kids and a lot of stuff going on, but we definitely want to be here for you guys.
'Tis the season.
Oh yeah, I just had the new version of the flu, you guys. It was horrible. I had it for 3 weeks.
Is that H3N2 something?
Yeah, it's like whatever that new weird name one is, and there's nothing they can give you to make it go away. You just have to like ride it out. It's horrible.
Wow.
Okay, so we're about to that level where we can go ahead and get started. All right, so again, what we're doing for all the people that are in here, thanks for coming in. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, check out Patriotic Housewife and Kelly Raybon on YouTube and X. And Kelly is also on Instagram. Trio Smart, I like that.
Oh, man.
Trio
yeah,
Smart.
I do like that.
That's catchy.
I love that.
That is catchy, actually.
That's another t-shirt.
Yep.
We should use that for all of our lives. Trio Smart Live.
I've got a running list over here. So, okay.
You writing it down?
Yep. See, guys, I have notes.
Oh my gosh, she's a Post-it note girly like me. Everyone's always making fun of me. I got Post-it notes everywhere. Is it autoimmune brain? You got to write everything.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we will pull up. This is our notes. This is show notes. So this one was called Cowboys and Idiots. And she opened with Tyler and details about him and his intelligence. Tyler Robinson, that is. And she was talking about how he had a high IQ and, you know, how he's supposedly the murderer and he has ties to the furry and Lance and all that kind of stuff. And his grandma saying that he was kind of like this nice, you know, caring young man that didn't really shoot that much and she could never see him doing something like that. She talks about where he went after Dairy Queen. Kelly, do you want to kind of start walking us through those?
Sure. I mean, look, it's interesting to me that we're going down this route today. Now, we're almost 4 months in. But okay, let's go. New year, new track. And yeah, so the interesting narrative of that he went down, drove this 3 hours and had a big old dinner full of steak, mashed potatoes, and vegetables. Now, I don't know about any of you in the chat. Y'all tell us, do you think I know, you know, hopefully none of us in here would ever commit a heinous crime, but can you imagine going to have a big old dinner after such an event?
I mean, I couldn't. But I think that people, you know, that have mental problems or that, you know, they just don't, they're out of touch. I think it's different, you know, it's kind of like Brian Koberger style, you know.
Or also, if there's medication involved, that can dull a lot of those feelings.
True.
Even like the adrenaline dump may not happen if you're on medication.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
she said so she said he drove 3 hours to, I guess it's Panguitch, Utah.
Yeah, I was going to try to say the name Panguitch. You know, my Texas accents will come out on that one.
And I guess the whole story basically is that there's this cafe called Cowboy Smokehouse, and he went down there, had a meal, hung out. The waitresses and stuff saw him. There's no cameras, but they're basically telling Candace that he was there. They verified it with his credit card. And she also pointed out that him being such a high IQ person, and, you know, if he plotted all of this, why would he mess it all up by using his credit card, right? Mm-hmm. And then supposedly, this is kind of the big bombshell, I guess, for this one, besides the fact that he went 3 hours away and was at this restaurant, is that his grandmother lives near Panguitch. And she's the one that said she could never see him commit a crime
Mm-hmm.
and Candace thinks that he was possibly there visiting. So if that's the case, did he just casually go and see his grandmother? Was he not even at the college? I mean, this is interesting. I'd love to see how this fits into that timeline. Now,
So
next,
that's
she did
kind of been the
reiterate.
thing the whole time, though. Like, there's been rumor that he was never even there. He was in the area, you know?
Yeah, I think that's one question we didn't get answered is like, what exact timestamp did he have on the credit card?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good question.
Do y'all remember Patriotic Housewife? You may recall this because I don't know if Matt was on Twitter or as active at that point, but there was someone who had gone down to Utah within the last 2 months. I don't think that it was Diligent. I want to say it was someone else, but maybe it was.
Ian Carroll went, and then Paramount Tactical went with
Paramount.
Stephen Gardner. Those
No,
were
this was someone who is just really an ex person. And anyway, they spoke to the grandmother. And so I want to go back into my notes
Oh yeah, I
and
remember that. Yeah.
and take a look and see what they said, because the grandmother, didn't believe that Tyler, of course, doesn't believe that Tyler did it. So I would like to go back. No, it's not George Webb. This was someone who's primarily on X. I don't think they even have a YouTube channel, or if they do, I don't think it was Project Constitution. Anyway, I just throw that out there. Maybe someone in the chat will know who I'm talking about.
I
But
remember
anyway,
what you're saying, but I can't think of who it was. Was it
it's,
Brian Enton?
Who
Who does
Brian
Anyone knows
crime
in
stuff?
chat?
down there? But
Because Brian
If-
Enton
if
has done a lot of
someone's
reporting.
saying-
And
Yeah,
Yeah.
someone's saying it's Brian Enton.
is it
Okay.
okay? I love
Maybe.
him. He does great work.
Oh yeah, he did have a YouTube video that
Mhm.
had her. Yeah, yep, it was him.
Okay, so
Thanks,
it'd be curious, or maybe Diligent. Yeah. So anyway, it'd be curious for us to, or I'd be interested in going back and looking at that and just kind of seeing if the grandma mentioned anything about this stuff, or what. I just always am like, all right, is Candace really pulling up new information, or is just she recycling it from other people's previously published things? That's all.
I think that her team, this is my guess, I think that obviously with 55,000 emails like per inbox, she can't go through everything. So I'm guessing what they're doing is they're taking things, they probably put in some kind of software and they're checking things off. And then if something leads to maybe, something else, they just kind of have this little, you know what I mean? Like list going of different areas. I mean, imagine how big the list is by now. It's like a family tree at this point.
Yeah, for
Hard
sure.
to keep up with. That's what I
You're
think.
gonna hear some dog. You're gonna hear some dog barking a little bit. So the next thing is Candace kind of went through this list. She reiterated all the stories that she broke and the evidence that she provided to the public. So she kind of went through and gave all the receipts of all the stuff that her and her team have brought through. And I don't know if Housewife and Kelly, if you kind of want to go through some of those, if anything's interesting to you, but I put it up here on the screen. This is part one. There's another one as well. But
Yes.
we knew about.
I think that it's interesting again that she was taking this opportunity to, and I fully agree. It's time that she does a little rehash to try to remind people what has been accomplished so far in this case and the things that she has brought to the table. It's important to reestablish credibility at this point, given all of the massive attacks. Now, sorry for my dog. See, it's the two of us. We're the problem children.
You're good. If I had mine, if I didn't have this door shut, believe me, you guys would be hearing it on my end too. I just kick them out.
So now, just like the quick run through, right? So Charlie was abandoning the pro-Israel cause. We had Dairy Queen with Tyler Robinson. He went to the Cowboy Steakhouse, and that's something that was, I guess, new. That's not something I'd heard before in this episode. We have food poisoning, called out of work on the 10th to help his grandmother move furniture. He worked at Watt Electric. Charlie's Catholic considerations. So, starting to move that direction. Apparently, he had like a Catholic funeral or something similar as well. And then Terrell Farnsworth, moments after the assassination, saying that, Charlie's dead, Charlie's dead, Charlie's dead. That was very strange to everyone.
Mhm.
No blood on the back when Charlie went down. The bullet did not pass through. I'm going to show that. So these are the images that Candace had during her stream. So this is from behind. I see some of you in chat are saying that there was a picture there's a video, but these are just snapshots from it. So as you can see, I mean, you don't see any damage in the back. You don't see any blood. You don't see any deformation of his, back of his head. You don't see any wounds. There's no trauma.
It's just
in the
interesting
back
because of
that we can
the
see, right?
posturing that happened. So that's what gets me going because of my medical background from, the previous years before I was podcasting. So to me, the posturing, I'm just still puzzled by that. Unless maybe we're not seeing an exit. Like, what if it was in the hairline? That was my question too, but I guess you can kind of see that it's not.
Now, if there's an entry wound from the back and the front was an exit, then you wouldn't see the entry wound in the hair, most likely.
Right.
And I showed that in the video where I did the shooting
Right.
as well on porch and everything else. But you see blood on his hand, right? There's little drops of blood here.
Mhm.
We're not showing anything graphic YouTube. But yeah, I mean, he looks like a normal guy from behind, just laying down, hanging out. And yeah, a lot of people are saying it's a brainstem injury.
Now, my question with the thing is, so if it was like the exploding mic, that mic is intact right there.
It's
Wouldn't
the
it
other
have?
mic. It's the one that's on his shirt.
Oh, they were talking about the
one that's
lapel.
mic.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So does the lack of exit impact the explosion theory? No, it does not. That would actually lean a little bit more towards that theory.
Also, I wanted to bring up, Candace going over everything that she's figured out over time. The reason that that's good and I think it's important is because there's been a lot of information, you guys, since September 10th. I mean, tons of different leads that we've gone through, tons of things that are, true. We found a lot of lies. And so people are you got to go back and you got to remember at this point, unless you have notebooks full of information, it's hard to remember everything. You know what I mean? And as things continue to come up, maybe it discredits something else that we thought was true. Follow what I'm saying? So I think that it's just good for her to it's like a refresher for certain things. And maybe she'll go further into these.
Yeah, and even discrediting, I don't know, that might not be the right term, but when you're in an investigation, there's stuff that you're gonna have your leads.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm choking over my Gatorade I just had. But you're gonna have your leads. And then as you get into those leads and you move forward through the investigation, there's things that are going to drop off and there's going to be new stuff that replaces it. So, and also if you're on X, it's overload. I mean, there's thousands of posts every day. That's new, supposed theories and evidence and, this is 100% what happened and everything else. So it's crazy to trying to keep up with everything.
X is wild. I told you, Matt, I check it once a day and I try to stay off of it because it's toxic and crazy on there, but I go on there strictly to get information.
Kelly lives in the wild.
You live on, do you check X a lot, Kelly?
I'm just staying quiet because I need to go move my dogs.
All right.
We'll see you in a minute.
But, that's a good point, Matt. And I think too, a lot of people that are getting frustrated, we've all lost the point of, even when police investigate, if this was not Charlie Kirk and it wasn't somebody of, basically celebrity level, and you treat this like a normal person, there are mistakes. People do have to be ruled out. Why is it so offensive to rule out the spouse and rule out the friends? Why are there people that are off limits? Because the average American, if I turned up dead, they're going to rule out my husband. They're going to rule out my friends or people who last saw me. That's just a part of it. And it's not offensive for anyone else. So why is it so leave the grieving widow alone? Why are all these people so untouchable? It's weird.
And if you watch something like 60 Minutes, what's the first person they go after? It's the spouse or the boyfriend, right? Or the girlfriend, right? It's always the person closest to them.
And who can benefit from it? People say, oh, well, Erica couldn't have committed it. Well, there's murder for hire all the time. For insurance policies, we've seen that time and time again. Now, why is it?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. But I think people initially were saying she's a grieving widow, leave her alone. But it's because she had this huge TPUSA family behind her, right? So she was seen as Mrs. Innocent Catholic, could never hurt anyone. Charlie's little wife that, was a trad wife and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the other part of the stories, the feds seized the cameras in the hospital. I guess the surgeon said that. The feds blocked Dr. Trotter, okay, that's the surgeon, from returning to the operating room. Andrew Colvett lied about the Superman neck. And I don't know if you saw Candace's, I think it was 2 episodes ago, basically said that Andrew Colbert made that up. And she also said Erica was on the phone with him and the doctor. So it sounds like Erica was the one who was saying this stuff, and Andrew kind of ran with it, as far as we know. And then we have Charlie texting Dan Flood and Andrew Colbert the night before, saying he was afraid that they were going to kill him. Netanyahu called Charlie, making an offer to Turning Point to take it to the next level. And we found out, it sounds like Erica Kirk was also involved in that meeting. She was on three-way or something similar. And Nicole, you also said that maybe someone else was there?
Yeah, I don't want to drop that just yet.
Okay,
but yeah,
so
there
we-
was
we-
more
we
at the
can keep that
Hamptons
secret.
meeting than what they're leading.
All right, we'll leave that one for a different day. Then we have Fort Huachuca, military meeting report, Egyptian planes, of course, which we haven't really heard any follow-ups on that. It was kind of thrown out there. A few people jumped on it. Now it's just, it's kind of old news at this point, I guess, unless something new shows up. Bomb dogs didn't find the gun the first time, but then when the FBI arrived, then they found the dog, and then they found the guns. So did the FBI bring the guns, or did they have better sniffing dogs? I don't know. And then a massive check coming to Turning Point from Pierre Falcone. I don't know about that check. You guys know anything about that? I haven't heard anything about a massive check.
That's the one where Pierre DuPont. So it was regarding that was supposed to be like this like life-changing, crazy amount of like obscene amount of money. I believe that's what that's about. That
That's
I think Tyler was
separate from
bringing in.
Netanyahu, right?
I think that was a separate thing. That's how I took it. To me, I took BB saying that was something else, unless Pierre and chat will have to let us know if we're on the right track, because I thought they were two separate things, but I could be crazy.
All right. And then next we had
DuPont was separate. Someone said, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So BB offered to take Turning Point to the next level. He said, no, that was before he died. And then DuPont, I think, was something totally separate where it was going to be this, like, what was it, $1 billion donation? Oh,
Is there any
DuPont
connection
was
between
one of the
DuPont
donors.
and
Yeah.
Netanyahu? Is there any kind of connection between Netanyahu and DuPont, or is that completely separate?
I'm sure there is between Israel and France, I'm sure.
Do we have different nation states competing for control of TPUSA? Is that a thing?
I think we probably have a multi foreign entities situation is what I think. I think it's not going to be like one certain thing. That's just my opinion.
Or there's just a lot of different big questions to keep
That's
us all
true.
guessing.
The confusion, create confusion. That's all you need is
Yes.
confusion.
Exactly. It can have you chasing your tail for not
Ever.
just days on end, but months, years on end.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then she talked about TPUSA with the tent idea. Ultimately, it was a group decision to move forward from the events team. And they said that they thought people would use that tent to grieve and reflect on what had happened. What do you think about that, Kelly?
I rolled my eyes and let out a big old sigh when I heard that one. I just, that's a lame excuse. It was just a poor decision and poor taste, and they should rewind that and never do it again.
And this was a group of people that came together and thought of that, not just one person.
That makes it even worse, in my opinion. It's like but clearly they also just didn't want to put the blame on Elizabeth McCoy either, or solely have her carry the responsibility on her shoulders.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
So now a lot of the next stuff is Fort Huachuca. So I guess we'll kind of cover this quickly. So Erica sent another text about her location on September 8th. Had the name blocked out. Candace followed up multiple times. Erica sent another follow-up, and it was Charlie's contact card. So obviously it's still not an alibi. It's not what she asked for. And she said she's working through a third party. I don't know who that is. And then she said she also messaged Dan Flood and Brian Harpole with no response. There are rumors, allegedly, that at least Brian is in the process of maybe some litigation. Against who, I'm not sure. Maybe that's why he's kind of keeping to himself. And then we have Amadei, the congressman, He fit the description from Mitch, and according to Candace, his alibi checked out. So she looked at the video with some other people on her team, and they agreed that it was him in the stream, even though he wasn't on roll call. He seems like he was in the building. Still no proof. Yeah, so this was my note. So basically, even if all these people were at this meeting, this is something no one's really talking about. So if all these people were at the meeting, so Erica's there the night before, Cabot Phillips is there. The next day, Harple's there with everyone, right? All the generals and everything else. Does that mean that they were planning an assassination against Charlie? Is there anything that indicates that? Is there any proof of that? That's the whole other question. People are like, well, maybe he's not lying, and maybe it was Erica Kirk. But does that have anything to do with the fact that Charlie got assassinated? And that's kind of an open question. I mean, what do you guys think in chat? Put a 1 if you think that meeting, if it happened, do you think that meeting was for Charlie? Put a 1. If you think it was just a generic meeting about something else important like the border, put a 2.
I'm going to quickly say this. If they were in, and I said this was possible, I said maybe they were there to have a meeting, because remember, she talks about how he was having death threats, remember? And she talks about having someone there to pray over him. I think it was a priest, because there were threats, and then wasn't it like a witch or something happened? And so again, if they were truly there for a security meeting because Charlie had death threats and they were extremely worried about him, why not just say that? Yeah, we were there. We were there for a security meeting. You follow what I'm saying? You could easily, hey, my mom works there. We were going to eat. I was bringing her McDonald's. I don't know. There's 1,000, why didn't you just do that? It would have killed everything in the water then, right? I mean, her mom, it's been proven that her mom does intelligence work out of there for these tech apps. So why not just come up with an excuse? Yeah, I was there for not a nefarious reason. But we're not doing that. We're creating fake alibis and getting caught creating fake alibis.
That's right. And telling a lie only makes it more and more difficult, because you just continue to dig that hole. And instead of just acknowledging whatever it was, and then writing that off, they have started to either go into silent mode or craft other alibis, and it's not good. I mean, and as Erica Kirk says, she does not believe in coincidences. So I just have to quote that like a broken record.
Someone was saying her mom was in the hospital. You know anything about that?
So my theory is, I'm going to say this, and I probably shouldn't even say this, but I don't believe her mom is sick, personally. I think that, again, if her mom was sick and she was at a facility, there's definitely hospitals have cameras. But that was on September 10th that Erica claims she was at a facility when all this took place, not the 8th or the 9th. I think people are getting the dates confused.
Yeah. And either way, it just, all of it seems too weird. And she never said in her narrative, as she described all of the things leading up to the 10th, she didn't say, yeah, and my mom has been sick and I was preparing for this big visit to the hospital or preparing to go help her with some appointment. None of that stuff. So, and what about, where's her mom been since? I mean, is she still in the hospital? She's still sick? I don't know. We haven't heard anything more about it since.
Well, she's not shuffling around to the doctor. She's a CEO. She can't come down from buildings. So
exactly.
She surely ain't helping her sick ma.
And who's raising her kids?
I heard Glenn Beck is babysitting the kids a ton. How weird is that?
Interesting.
No, seriously.
I heard that discussed on Barron's, but I don't know where that initially came from. Do you know?
I don't know where it came from. So I went back and started watching like old interviews, because I feel like when she was on the press tour, they were back to back, and it's like overwhelming watching her. Like, she's hard to watch. So I couldn't watch them all. And you know how it is, Kelly. Like, you're researching, you're doing all these things in the background. You only have so many hours in a day to listen to every single podcast or interview. And so I went back and I listened to the Glenn Beck one again. And I mean, they have a very close relationship. So a lot of people are like, what is with that? And I'm like, well, supposedly it was because of Charlie, but I don't know. It's kind of, it's insinuated he's like helping.
It's strange to me that she doesn't have a I don't know, normal, non-famous friend. Like I would believe more so a normal, non-famous friend could be helping out, watching the kids. That would seem to be safer. I don't know, to keep them under the radar. So the Glenn Beck thing seems very, very odd to me. I'm not buying it.
I'm not either. It's
But
weird.
I'm not buying that the kids are really there. That's a whole nother story.
Well, what do you guys think
Right.
about the parents, the grandparents? Do you think the grandparents are involved? What do you guys think? Because at the Rose
We don't
Garden
know.
ceremony, they don't look like they're buddy with Erica.
They're
Yeah, we don't have
very,
enough
very
information.
standoffish, very
Yeah.
standoffish.
I mean, do they even know if it's his kids? I mean, assume it's his kids, but I don't know. Maybe they know something everyone else doesn't know.
If you guys have I don't know, watched the last several streams with Matt, if you've gotten to know me at all, you probably know by now I question everything. I don't take what anyone says at face value. So that's how I approach this entire thing.
I'm the same way.
Nikki No says, "Holy shirt."
Yeah.
All right. So let's get back focused. So Candace says she doesn't like Terrell Farnsworth. Terrell. Candace says that man is guilty of something. Quote. She said not to harass him and his family. He's not proven guilty, but she did say he's getting death threats. She showed that Charlie was not shot from behind, or at least it didn't have any damage in the back, which you guys saw. And actually, we have a lot more people in here now. I'll show that again. So this is the image, one of the images that she shows. And you can see the back of the shirt. There's no blood. Doesn't appear to be any damage at all to the head or neck or the back or anything else. And then here's one closer. You see that chain hanging off, and you see, a little bit of blood splatter. But not what you would expect if he got shot by a high-power rifle that went all the way through. So it's very interesting.
Where did she say where she got this picture? I didn't catch that part, but so was she recording when she had that little interview? Because remember, he would only show her on FaceTime, and we were all like, "Oh, she's probably recording that." So is that where that came from? Because where did that picture come from?
I think he eventually provided the files to her. So this was from the video that she got from Terrell. So these are just screen grabs. All right.
Did she say that she's had that this entire time?
Yeah, because remember, she right away she mentioned that.
Yeah, that was one of the first things she showed.
Well, right.
Like one of her third or fourth. Yeah.
But
it was very early.
But my point is, she's had that image this entire time. We're coming up on 4 months, and I don't know. I just think at this point we are in the interest of finding out who did it and what really happened. Quit holding on to stuff. Okay? Let's just get to it.
I agree with you. I think there's a lot. We're coming to a point now where I think people actually have Charlie Kirk fatigue. And I think we're drawing things out. But I also understand her method of giving people enough rope and time to hang themselves. You know what I mean? And then bringing the proof out versus her being the bad guy per se. So I mean, I'm with you. I'm just over it.
Yeah.
So this person said, what are the red dots on the hand holding the microphone? That would be blood splatter. That was blood. So she talks about basically Tyler Boyer being a bad person. So Trump pardoned him for election crimes along with 71 other people. She said he was in debt at TPUSA, basically 1 year. And then the next year, he's a millionaire, has a multi-million-dollar house. And then she was getting into how Erica met Tyler. So Tyler and Erica knew each other before Charlie, and they attended Trump's 2015 rally. And that's the rally that it looked like there was some gentleman with Erica, and there's a child between them, and they're kind of hanging out. And then you see Tyler Boyer's down in front, and then you see the mother, Lori. Is it Lori? Yeah, Lori Francie is kind of, to the side of Tyler.
Supposedly that's Derek. I can't pronounce his last name. Derek. I can't pronounce it. But there was supposedly.
Is that someone she dated before?
Yeah, that's an ex-boyfriend, but that's who they think is they're saying she has a kid with him, a daughter who magically is missing. And they're where'd that daughter go? I have my theories on that, but I'm not even going to say that on here. We don't want to get in trouble.
So Erica said she met Tyler at the rally. Candace says that Tyler knew Erica before that because he did some kind of speech where he said that she contacted him when she was Miss Arizona and said she wanted to help out. So that story doesn't really line up. Playing devil's advocate, maybe she meant that she met him in person for the first time at the rally, but she talked to him on the phone before that. Could be the case. I don't know. But I'm not sure how important that point is. The fact is they knew each other before Charlie. Yep,
I mean,
her
I
answer was
always
on
knew that they knew each other.
Mhm.
Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying? That we didn't know that Tyler Boyer and Erica knew each other prior to Charlie?
That's what Candace was saying.
Okay.
I mean, we
This
knew
is,
that.
this is all
when-
Candace.
Yeah, yeah. I just think we definitively knew that for those of us that were listening. I know and the reason why this is important is that different people have joined into the investigation at different times. And obviously, not everyone has the chance to consume everything because there's so much out there. Yeah, but I mean, as she showed, that was a statement that was made in the, in the big memorial service.
Candace is slow playing everything. She's not serious. I don't know. I mean, there's some people that think she's doing this for the views and the clicks and the money, which is probably plentiful. And other people say she's doing it because he was her best friend. That's what she says, right? So it could be either one. We may never know. But this is the point. Did you want to cover this, Nicole? This is something you brought up when we were talking earlier.
So apparently Tyler Boyer had LLCs with Lori and it's been deleted since. Yeah. So if you go through, so there were LLCs that were through Arizona at one point. And I think, so Lori Fransby has like intelligence apps. And apparently there's like an app that TPUSA was using, I guess. And they were working together. But a lot of stuff is being deleted, you guys. You guys can go on like the Arizona, like Florida, we have Sunbiz and start digging through LLCs. And a lot of stuff now, the names aren't listed on the LLCs anymore. They're all based out of Delaware now. So a lot of stuff is changing. I tell people all the time, if you guys see something, screenshot it, save it to a hard drive because it's disappearing and changing left and right.
And X is a great place if you want to look at some stuff that's been deleted. Most of it is probably on X now. And it's not just that it's being deleted. Obviously, social media is being wiped. It seems like a lot of Erica's past is being wiped with Cabot Phillips. We have pastors at TPUSA Faith bringing down a lot of their messages. We also have some of Charlie's older videos being taken off. So it's very strange on his channel, on his own channel.
Did you notice they deleted the Prove Me Wrong tour? So like if you go on the Charlie Kirk show on YouTube, everything from like 2 months, like, okay, so like how long since September? It's been like 4 months to today is there. And everything, so like the last year is deleted. So the whole Prove Me Wrong tour. Why would you delete just that specific year? What's in those videos? And it's probably what he's saying because it doesn't fit the narrative that they want to keep spinning. That's what I think. But it's just that year. So 2 years on and then 4 months coming this way. Is that not odd? It's weird.
Yeah, I'd be curious what specifically was in there.
Mm-hmm.
Because if there's something that they're against, almost everything he says is backed in some kind of biblical context.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder what about that would make them want to take it down?
Or
piece?
was it the security team? Like, is there something that, because remember, there were talks about all these hand gestures. So I wonder if people were going back and looking through the normal body language of what Dan Flood and them are doing to see if anything was different that day. So they figured we'll just take it all down so that you can't examine things, so we can't see what's changed over time or specifically for that day. There's something in that footage they don't want us to see or be able to go over.
Possibly. All right. So the next point, she was really hammering home that she thought the Farnsworths and the Boyers have like a long past together. So Erica said that her and Tyler were linked through a congressman, and then Tyler and Terrell. So Tyler Boyer and Terrell Farnsworth go way back. Their parents went to school together. Tyler, I'll just say TNT, they went to school together. And then apparently there's an Eddie and a David Farnsworth. And one is a senator and one's a chairman of State of House Judiciary. And then Dwayne is Terrell's father, and it looks like they're all very close, and they got sued together, and they have companies together. And like she said, Tyler Boyer and Lori Francie had LLC together. So it sounds like in 2014, they introduced Erica to the House floor. It wasn't Erica, it was Erica's mother. They introduced Erica's mother to the House floor as G-Tech Industries with a concern about recent EMP events. I don't know what that event was, and I haven't had time to look it up, obviously, but it's kind of interesting. I mean, that's the industry that her mother's in.
Yeah, I actually think I have. Let me see if I could send you this.
And then while you're doing that, this next piece is probably the most important piece of everything she talked about so far in this comeback. And it kind of goes along with the video that I did on Fort Huachuca and what everyone else is talking about as well. So Eddie, who is one of the Farnsworths, I believe, he blocked a hearing on a bill to prevent young human trafficking. Right? And then his nephew, Albert, had assaulted a minor. Essay, right? And then she said that trafficking is a huge issue in Arizona, especially with the border right there near Fort Huachuca and just being that close to Mexico. So that's in her last episode, she had that comedian, was it Tim Ballard? Is that his name?
No. Tim Ballard is with Operation. Well, was with Operation.
Who's the comedian guy? I don't remember his name.
I don't watch him. I know. It's terrible.
Yeah. So, but he did this whole spiel, and it was all about like the corruption and the people
Tim
doing
Dillon.
like
Tim Dillon. Thank you.
Yeah.
Tim Dillon. That's what it is. Yeah.
But like the youth trafficking, human exploitation, and just all the corruption, right? And this is kind of a continuation of that. And the theme is, Fort Huachuca has been linked to this stuff. They've been caught in child porn rings and human trafficking, and TPUSA apparently, at least out there, is across the street from a known trafficking location, like one of the biggest hubs. And then Candace also linked Phil Lyman, who's in Utah, to Ballard, who ran Operation Underground. And apparently that was some sort of ring related to this topic. So it's very interesting. Does everything come back to that? Did Charlie find something out about this? I don't know.
That layer is something that I was looking into very early on, and I'll just say for now, until I get all my ducks in a row, that when I asked some very specific people about it, I was told, "Oh, nope, nothing to see here." I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I think Jesse and Fire just did a 2-part. I think one was live and one was pre-recorded series, kind of on this stuff. Mostly talking about like Cabot Phillips and the pizza thing. I think he calls it lasagna gate or something similar. But interesting.
Yeah, I did a show on so I took people back to Megyn Kelly. So Megyn Kelly back in 2016, I don't know if you guys remember the John Podesta emails. I feel like people have forgotten about that and they've gotten kind of distracted with Epstein, but what they don't realize is like the Podesta stuff is like really bad. And so I talked a little bit about, I call it pizza party. And, just for censoring reasons or whatever, and went back into some of those emails and showed how, in 2016, when she interviewed Comet Ping Pong's owner, she was like sympathizing with that dude and victimizing him. And here he's got pictures of kids taped to pool tables and saying, "Oh, well, yeah, I put that on my Instagram because like one kid, taped the other kid to the table." I'm like, bud, that's crazy. So I do think all of that ties in. I think at the end of the day, all of that corruption ties in, and it's just so big. It's deeper than I think people think, for sure.
Yeah, and this is one of the articles that she linked here as well. U.S. Army missed red flags about civilian leader who led child porn ring and risked U.S. security, records show. And there's links to not just this, but also like satanic cult rituals with Aquino, Aquino is the guy's name. And he co-authored books and military intelligence, something that's called, was it Mind Gate or something similar, with a guy who works for TPUSA, Vallely. And Vallely, let me see if I can pull this up here. He was a veteran. He did his time in combat and military intelligence. He taught, and he was a teacher for quite a while, and now he's on the board of TPUSA. I'm actually just curious, after people have been talking about him the last few days, if he's still listed on their site. Let me see.
They're typically pretty slow, I would say, to update the website, given that per the Wayback Machine, and I'd taken some screenshots, I think it was Candace was still on there on the executive staff till like November 26th, 28th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when they
Yeah, so
removed
it's the
Dan
second
Flood
year.
and Mikey, I think they
Yeah,
took.
they just made like a swoop of finally updating things.
So this is the guy that has the links to intelligence, and the guy who's a known Satanist, a known cultist, and also directly linked, not him specifically, but the other guys linked directly to, child stuff. YouTube's really sensitive about what you say, so, but you get the picture. So, not good. I mean, it's looking like the fort is kind of a hot spot for that kind of activity, and yeah, I'm not sure what else we should say about that, but I'm sure more is going to come out. Hopefully more details come out, and the people that need to get in trouble. All right.
Have
the
you
other
guys
thing about
seen
this
Out of
too-
Shadows? Did you guys ever see
No.
that?
Nope.
I highly suggest, if you guys are ever laying around, pulling that up on YouTube. It's like an hour and a half long thing, and it's about two stunt guys who were in Hollywood and they were stunt doubles, and they went to parties, they experienced certain things. It goes into the satanic rituals and the sick culture of Hollywood, along with Project Paperclip and Mockingbird, and it does a really good deep dive into this, and pictures, all kinds of stuff, and it just gives people a really good, in my opinion, base layer to like start to wake up or start to really see like how this whole thing works. And essentially, he didn't want to be in Hollywood anymore because he didn't want to be roped into all this stuff, and he ended up getting paralyzed on set magically when he was about to try to get out because of what he had seen and things he had experienced. And so him and his buddy that were both stunt doubles left Hollywood, and they literally don't stay in one place for too long. Like, they live on sailboats and stuff. But Out of Shadows is really good. It's on YouTube. They take it down a lot, but it's still up there. I actually just had a friend that watched it, and it's just really good. If you guys have time to, an hour and a half to watch it, it's an eye opener.
What was the name again?
Out of Shadows.
Out of Shadows.
I highly recommend, and I can always send you guys the link to send to your people, but I would definitely recommend people watch that. It's a good
Candace
starter.
did Hollywood without paying a price. Yep. Holly weird. Yeah,
It's
and,
got-
and they're becoming a lot less popular, right? Like when I was a kid, Hollywood was where it was at. That's everyone wanted to be a famous actor or singer or something like that. And nowadays it seems like, the creator or the influencer is kind of like the Hollywood now. And Hollywood's
Mhm.
kind of fallen to the side.
Yeah, and they
Yep,
talk about, say it goes into, satanic worship, how it works. They have to ritualize everything in the public eye because that's part of the ritual is doing things in the open. It's almost like, we're supposed to publicly, profess our love for God. It's the same thing with Satan. It's really sick and twisted, but it's just a really good watch. I hope everyone watches it, and it's just really eye-opening. Someone said Out of Shadows made my skin crawl immediately. It will. It'll really change you.
All right, so I'm going to finish this out. We have 3 quick things, and then we'll jump into questions, and we can talk about other stuff as well. So for Candace's show, looks like Arizona politicians traveled down to David Monthan Base for an annual summit, and that's 1 hour from Fort Huachuca, and that was held on the day before Charlie died as well. And she focused again on the Farnsworth family, like maybe they went there and had something to do with it. So the timing's suspect, but it sounds like it's something they do annually because it was an annual summit. So maybe it just happened to be a coincidence. And then this Tom Burt ran the Duncan Aviation, and I think that's linked back to maybe the planes, the planes you were talking about before. I'm not sure, And then they rented cars for feds. And he was the chief operating officer for 22 years, retired in 2019. And she said there's a lot of Farnsworth and Boyer families that are kind of involved in politics and military and stuff like that. And then she just kind of reiterated that there's this girl named Maddie that's, supposed to be giving her a bunch of shit on this new show on Daily Wire. And then she talked about Bridget McCrone again and a lot of the stuff going on with that. So now we can start talking about whatever you guys want and start answering questions. So let me start digging.
I saw there was a bunch of super chats coming through. So
yeah, let's see here. Instead, thanks for the super chat. Interview George Webb, talk about Kirk Doge audit. I know he's been been he thinks that's the smoking gun, like the most important thing. And I've noticed that he also has been battling with several other people and blocking a lot of people, and doesn't really want to hear any alternative information. But I haven't personally talked to him, so I can't say if he's good or bad or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's something that could be interesting. He did interview with DD Got a Podcast. So if you want to kind of see more information about that audit, I believe they covered that in there. Dynamites, thanks for the super chat. Multinational mafia led by the Rothschild family. There is a here. Let me show you this something here real quick. There's this guy named Coop. Have you heard of him yet, Nicole or Kelly?
No. I don't think so.
His name is Coop on YouTube. And see if I can show this here. All right, so Coop has been going super hard into everything. They're like very well edited, very well researched, super in-depth videos. And he has videos where he covers how he believes that Erica Kirk is a Rothstein, which is part of the family tree of the Rothschilds. And he links them all together. He talks about her past with Romania and family ties and all kinds of stuff and gets super deep into it. And Jesse on Fire covered one of his videos. So if you want to get into some of that stuff, that might be a good place to start.
Yeah, Justin Lee is pretty good too. He's covered a lot of the mob ties in the background, and I kind of had dug into her family past and stuff really early on. It's just not something I wanted to bring to the forefront. I was kind of like waiting to see other people bring certain things out, but it's not good. The family, involvement in things is not great.
Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe. Make sure you check out Patriotic Housewife on X and YouTube, and also Kelly Raybon on X, YouTube, and Instagram. All right, we covered that. Ivan is Ivan. Thanks for the super chat. Matt, legend. Love the three-way ladies. Y'all making Trigger look good. Bravo. And what they call it earlier? Trio smart?
yes. Yep.
Yeah, trio smart.
Y'all gonna make Matt blush.
Not possible. Not possible.
Platforming the ladies.
Things I've seen. See, Valerie Ann, thanks for the super chat. What if Erica called the priest over as a way to administer last rites? Interesting. Not in the true sense, but praying over his soul, knowing what would happen on 9/10, allegedly, of course. That's dark.
Yeah, but if they read him his last rites, what would they do that behind his back? Does that count?
Was he sleeping?
You know what I mean? I was raised Catholic, but I became a Christian when I turned 18. But I swear, like when the priest came for like my great grandma, yeah, I guess you can be sleeping, right? Because as long as he gets there before you pass, I believe.
Yeah, a lot of people are unconscious.
Count in theory.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's creepy.
Yeah, that's a fresh one. I have not heard that take before.
Well, remember, Erica said to pray because they went to dinner the night before, right? Didn't they go to dinner the night before?
Supposedly with friends. Yeah, according to her alibi.
Also, I heard that
changed.
Dinner. Did you guys hear that? Someone said that she changed. So what she said on Jesse Waters, and then she said something somewhere else, and the day before was a totally different story.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Like the story changed.
Typical.
Let's see. Humble Beginnings. Thanks for the super chat. Glenn said he had kids on one of his shows. Had her kids on one of the shows? Interesting. So that's confirmed then.
Yeah, if Humble Beginnings, if you know which show
Drop
that
it in
is,
the chat.
please Like give us some leads on that, what episode number or something, so we can go chase it down. Because I don't know about y'all, but I'm not trying to go listen to all of Glenn Beck's shows all over
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was in the interview they did with Eric, I thought.
Let's see. When Angela, you are not Morgan Ariel. Sorry. Erica was raised Catholic. She identifies as evangelical now. Catholicism is incompatible with Zionism. Love Trick is smart. Let's see. Zionism. Yeah. So that's why a lot of people are having issues with Charlie going from evangelical Christian to Catholic and kind of like working in that direction. That's kind of where he was going. So that's, like you say, that's incompatible with Zionism. So I don't know. And was he publicly doing that? Because it sounds like Candace kind of dropped that. Maybe thought she shouldn't have dropped that. I don't know.
I don't
She
know.
said that tonight.
Candace seems to really want to make sure that everyone believes that Charlie was turning Catholic. So I don't know what all that's about.
It's weird. He's not here to speak for himself. I don't even know if there's like a point to that. I think she was just trying to really push the point of like he wasn't an evangelical, basically. He was not this like Judeo-Christian follower anymore. I think was kind of probably, you know what I mean? The point, I guess.
There were major changes in his life
Yeah.
that were happening. See, Dean, I don't know. Is this Dynamite? I'm not sure how I should pronounce this, but thanks for another super chat. Part of the Inter Mafia led by the Rothschild. Yeah, I think that's, I think Coop covers that as well. Pretty in depth.
Mm-hmm.
Black Swan Revelations. Thanks for the super chat. Just checking out your live first time. Keep up the good work. Hey, thanks for being here. We appreciate you. Dynamites again. Thanks for the super chat. The stocking boss riding the small horse has explicitly requested that CK be removed from TPUSA before the UVU event. Everything is related. Are you talking about the website? Yeah, I mean, these almost seem kind of cryptic without all the details, but we appreciate the super chat.
Is he talking about Ben Shapiro? Is that why he said riding the small horse?
The stocking boss riding the small horse has explicitly requested, yeah, I mean, maybe the stocking boss is Ben Shapiro.
Why did Ben Shapiro have to pay to be on the TPUSA Amfest stage?
Is that true? Do we have proof of that? Or is
Supposedly he did. Supposedly. That's the rumor.
If anyone knows in the chat, if you know definitively that he paid to be a 2PUSA, I would definitely love to hear about that.
It could be that they were a sponsor. Maybe that's the read between the lines.
Daily
probably Wire? Is that the Daily Wire was a sponsor.
They were a sponsor, yeah.
Okay. And so that's what they would mean, is that he paid to be there.
Yeah, because if that was the case, then like Tim Pool could have been there. He could have thrown $1 million.
Can you imagine?
Well, sure.
Tim Pool on stage.
I mean, probably anybody could. You got enough money, you can, I'm sure they're happy to take it.
Well, Charlie brought Tim Pool in the last 4 years, or 3 years at least. So
is he like off meds or something? Because he's acting like a lunatic.
He kind of seems like he's stabilized again a little bit. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Let's see. Donnie B, thanks for the super chat. Where's blood from the wound in Candace's video pic? That was kind of the point of the picture. There is no blood. There's no damage to the back of his body or his head in those images. See, well, Candace owns address Zodiac Post. Yeah, I think a lot of people are wondering about that.
So I did an update that they're saying that the account was hacked and the account was since deleted. So I'm guessing they restored it, but they deleted everything because they said the content of the post as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was hacked in order to make him look crazy.
You're talking about Mitch's account was hacked?
Candace.
You talking about Mitch's account was hacked?
Yeah, on X, yeah.
So the one he has now is not his original account? Is that what you're saying?
I guess if he has a new one, or maybe they restored that one. I just know that they pulled that specific... Everything came down yesterday. It might be back up today. I haven't checked.
For those who don't know, there's a post that was very detailed, basically saying that Mitch was saying that the Zodiac killer was his father. So, yeah. And Nicole did a whole video on it and covered it pretty much in detail. So if you're interested in that at all, you can go check it out. But it sounds like it might have been a hack or something. It might have been some crazy thing.
But did you see Alex Jones and Paramount Tactical ran with that? Evan Kilgore. Oh, yeah. It was all over X.
Yeah, let me see. Let me pull it up here. Let's see. Next super chat. Dog Nose, thanks for the super chat. Opinion on Twigs. Do you two have any opinion on Lance Twigs and that whole furry thing?
I mean, I do to an extent. I think that the narrative there, the furry, the trans, all of these adjectives, they tie into Hunter Kozak's question. So they tie into this whole entire narrative that's been painted. And I think it's a distraction meant to divide people and take us off on a whole nother thing. Where the heck is Lance? I don't know. Do I think that he's a real person? Yes, I do. That's kind of the long and the short of it. Why haven't we, seen or heard from him? I don't know. I personally haven't gone and knocked on doors in Utah, and that's on me yet, but that's on me. So I don't know. What do you think?
Well, did you guys see Jesse on Fire did a video around the beginning when he was talking about Hunter Kozak and all this? And I could have swore it was him. He said that he has friends in the PD that said that they never saw that they never saw Lance Twigs and they don't even think he's real. So there's a lot of discussion that, he's in witness protection, but when they were executing the search warrant, they supposedly had him in custody and they released him before the search warrant was done, which typically with most situations they hold on to you until that's finished. So I think that's weird. There's no transcription of what they asked him or any of the information from that interview. It was a really quick interview. It's weird. It's all weird.
Mm-hmm. I have a few social media things from Lance that were from well before this, even some payments on a transaction app and things like that. Yeah. And then in addition to that, I also have evidence of Lance Twigs with his date of birth that lines up and everything like that, being cited for some kind of traffic ticket. Sorry, I don't have it in front of me, but I think it was not having insurance and might have been pulled over for something else. So those are reasons why I believe that Lance Twigs at the right age and all that does exist. But again, I haven't spoken to him personally, so that's the extent of what I can say.
There were also the Discord logs. And I don't remember the person who covered it, but there was a huge set of Discord logs from Lance, Tyler, and all their friends that had tons of information, pictures. There was a guy who had like the background of both of them, hung out with them, showed how dirty the house was all the time. That's where all this stuff came out. Where
Turkey
like Lance,
the Turkey Tom thing.
Turkey Tom.
Yeah, but I think that's like
but that could be a Fed plant.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, who goes into their friend's house and does takes all those photos, whether the house is a mess or not? Like, that's weird.
Yeah, like pictures of someone's journal. Have you ever gone
in their
in
scribble?
And not really. Well, maybe that's why we don't hang out with you, Matt.
Did you see that? He grew mold in cups, like science experiments and stuff, and don't get rid of that. I was like, that's so weird.
Well, then there's pictures of Tyler with all his electrical stuff laid out on that table.
Mm-hmm.
It also looks, it looks almost staged or stacked, but that could be because someone has, a fixation on putting things in a certain way. It could be because they're really messy and they leave things crazy. I don't know. But the entirety of the Turkey Tom thing.
Savannah Barbiri, thanks for the super chat. Hey guys, I have to ask this. Do you think that the hole on Charlie's neck was a perfect circle? Any thoughts?
I don't.
It looks jagged. It looks like it was ripped as opposed to something cleanly going through it that was sharp. Kelly?
I don't think it's a perfect circle, but I also think that the images that we're seeing at this point, images and video, it's so hard to trace back the original origin and to know that they are not edited in any way, shape, or form. So again, use your discretion and discernment on everything.
All right, so we have this poll. Do you think the Farnsworth and Boyers are involved somehow? 95% of you said yes. Now, a follow-up question would be, do you think that just because of what Candace said tonight? Or did you think that before tonight? All right. Dog knows. Thanks for another super chat. Has Turkey Tom posted recently or disappeared? That's a good question. Let's look. Was Turkey Tom
I
was
didn't
that
see
X?
anything. I feel like people would have talked about it if he posted anything else, right?
You know what's also
YouTube.
interesting is that Turkey Tom video, it came into my YouTube, I don't know, next up or whatever.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
was fed to me very early on.
It did to me too. That's
Very
funny that
early
you say
on.
that. It
Mhm.
came through mine too. Like after you finish a video, the next one starts. That's what
Yes.
happened to me.
Yep. And so I just remember little data points like that, and I hold that back here and
It's
take that
weird.
for what it is. And so, yeah, I don't know.
You know, it looks like he's posted, within the last 2 weeks.
But is he still
Hmm.
doing anything Charlie Kirk?
Nope, just talking about different cases, different people.
Did
This
he
was the
start
only
because
one.
of Charlie Kirk?
No.
Okay.
No, and I remember
This
him
was-
starting the video saying like, I'm probably like kicking way outside my coverage or something like that, saying that he was outside of his normal scope. But
yeah.
I have
I
a
mean, he has,
question about
he has
that.
millions of subs. He's been doing this for a long time. So the Charlie Kirk things were just a couple of videos he did just to throw him out there. It's not anywhere near what he normally does.
So my question with that is, okay, so Kelly and I are kind of on the same page with this, but I'm curious, Kelly, do you think that what are the odds, okay, that his friend would be like, hey, I'm going to take all these photos and all this information and I'm just going to like pick a random person on YouTube to send this to like do this whole like production of a piece. You follow what I'm saying? Is that not weird?
yeah, I feel like there's like this much of a chance.
Exactly. It's weird.
Well, it wasn't random. It's someone with 1.6 million subscribers. That's not random.
Okay, but what are the chances of someone with 1.6 million subscribers even seeing this guy's message, email, whatever it was?
Right.
Well,
And
think
how
about
can he
some-
verify that that's true? I could have taken pictures of all kinds of things in a house and be like, hey, how do we know? Right? We don't know
Yeah,
that
but-
that wasn't done
but
in
you're
some
saying,
random.
And Turkey Tom did nothing. Well, I don't recall, or I don't know. It didn't seem like he did a lot. If he did anything to validate, I don't recall
Correct.
that part.
Correct. So how do we know?
How do you know the stuff that you report on?
But I
Well-
do. I mean, I try to validate what I
You try
can.
to validate.
Oh well, I mean, I describe my methodology to anyone who asks, and often
So you
I
do the best
describe-
you can with what you have, right? So you try and validate as best as you can, and then you present the information that you think you believe in or that has some kind of weight.
Sure,
right?
given my decades of experience as an investigative journalist, yes.
Correct. So now he not being someone who does this for a living, maybe he did as best as he could.
Right. But I think most of us typically when we bring things to, our videos and our posts, typically you show people on screen, hey, look at this crazy tweet, and you try to at least like, I always believe in like showing people, like if you're going to try to explain something, it's better to show them and then let them form their own opinion, not just you're talking to the camera, spewing whatever you're spewing. And you're just like, yeah, take my word for it, bro. Like, believe me, I think most of us try to like have some kind of, you know what I mean? We're not just pulling that out of thin air.
Discretion, yeah,
Right.
and you
It's a
and when you
verified
say,
source,
I
hopefully.
don't know, because you are with what? Hey, look, with 1 million subscribers, that is a big responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
That is not something that should be taken lightly. There are news stations, okay, full blown official TV news stations that don't have 1 million subscribers. So, yeah, it should come with a higher level of discretion, and yeah, that's my opinion.
So Nikki knows this is coming from one of your two side. I hope they're sharing the supers. And I've had messages on this before. I don't know why you think I'm like cashing in on these girls and getting all this like fame and money and everything. The way this works is I stream to mine, they stream to theirs. All the supers they get, like this one, or no, this message or whatever, this shows as linked from them. Same with the supers. So any supers that happen in their chat on their channel, they get. Any that happen on my channel, I get. And then we all get ad revenue on our own channels from the streams that we're all doing currently. That's the way it works.
Good question.
Boomers.
Oh, I mean, well, I'm not quite a boomer, but I am almost on the edge.
How old are you?
I'm 40.
Okay, I'm 36. I think we're all around the same age.
I think I'm a millennial technically.
How old are you? Oh, wait, you're.
44.
I was going to say, hold on a second. As that question was coming out of my mouth, I already knew you were older than me.
I don't know if I want to be a millennial, but
Yeah, there was
Can't
this
choose.
story. Vance tried to attack his grandmother to get money for hormone blockers. I heard about that. I don't know. I didn't see it like verified or anything, but that story did come out.
oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I didn't hear that either.
Doesn't Boyer have business ties with politicians? I think there's Boyers and Farnsworth who are politicians, and they probably do have businesses and things together.
Boyer has a lot of connections in general.
A lot of Turkey Tom questions. That's interesting. Love your pups. I have 6 border collies. I'm just trying to get back. There's like thousands of texts between all of our different different channels. So I'm just trying to get to some of the questions. Or StreamYard had a better way to separate questions from everything else.
Oh, there's a good one from Sergeant Will. Do you see that one?
But I can't search for it.
Okay. Oh, sorry. It says, wait, Candace never shows receipts. Just says, I have them. I validated them. And so this is an ongoing discussion that I think a lot of people are having right now. And again, no knock on Candace. It's for you as a viewer to choose, you know. She is an accomplished podcaster, commentator, activist, author. And not everyone has to be a full-blown journalist to do this. Anybody can get up and talk. And so it's up to, I think, you as a viewer to decide what you resonate with.
Well, and just like anything, we all should be using people as a way to get information and turn around and do your own independent research and form your own opinions. You shouldn't be believing any one individual person, period, in my opinion.
Yep. Multiple, keep, I don't know, keep it all diverse. Like listen to a lot of people, see what sticks with you.
We have this comment here. George Webb is going to do an interview with Wolves of Finance. That should be interesting. That's
It
the
should be,
smoking
yeah.
gun Doge. So, well, who's interviewing who? So Bigfoot for the win if you're still on. Is George interviewing Wolves or is Wolves interviewing George?
I'm guessing George probably interviewing wolves. That's what I would think.
Desiree, thanks for the super chat. 3412 timestamp on Life is Driving video shows a guy putting on and taking off a badge. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, he has the badge. I saw part 2 where he has the badge on, and then when someone comes up and is filming, then he quickly takes it off and puts it away. I don't think anything really came from that though.
That live I did with the security guards in back, someone was saying that I think it was 1 or 2 of those guys were supposedly the guys in the car that got pulled over that showed the badge. I thought that was interesting. I don't know how they know that, but that was something that was said, I guess. Found somewhere.
So his Zodiac post was fake. It's new information. Yeah, it's new information to me that it was pulled down and maybe it was hacked or something. I just know it was put up and then pulled down. And that was in what, December 2nd or something? It was
December
like early December.
1st it was posted.
December 1st.
So it was a little while ago. Yeah, they really need a better way to organize these questions. Usually, I would have someone assist me, like a producer, and they would be pulling questions for me while this is going. But when I'm also running all the media and everything else, I can't do that and pull the questions at the same time. So I apologize.
On our end, on our end, we can't star them, even if they're coming in from our side, Matt. So
what do you think about this one?
No.
No? You don't think Twigs is a Fed?
No, I mean, could he potentially be could they have struck some sort of deal with him and have him be a CI? I guess maybe have him roll on Tyler, but he's definitely not a full-blown Fed.
I don't think he's a Fed either.
All right. So if you have any questions in your chats that I can't see or that you've already found, feel free to bring those up. Obviously, you won't be able to show them on the stage, but you can still read them out.
Someone asked if his neck was grazed. I don't think it was grazed. I think there's definitely a full blown wound there. I mean, Matt, I mean, you're the ballistics person. I mean, it looks like we have an entrance. I don't know if we have an exit.
Yeah, it's a very intense entrance or rip or tear, but it was deep enough to get through the carotid. So whatever it wasn't just a graze.
Now, Candace says his neck looked good. Do you guys remember that? It was like a couple episodes ago. I think it was before the break where she said, oh, his neck looked really good. It didn't, look totally shredded. So that was interesting to me that she said he looked pretty good and it didn't seem torn up like you would think.
We have some squibbers in there, Kelly.
Good. I was about to weigh in. I was just over here biting my tongue. I was going to say, yeah, that hole looked like it could have been straight from a prosthetic neck. Don't worry. If y'all are squibbers, you stick with me. Kelly Raybon. Keli.
So do you think he's really dead then?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Desiree, I'm not sure whose channel you're on, but yeah, they can see your chats. How the heck did he get the vids? If you're talking about the images from behind, that was the camera that was up and above behind him. So that was Terrell's equipment. He pulled the SD card out and apparently gave it to the FBI or CIA or someone, but he also shared it with Candace.
Okay, so if Kelly is a squib person, she swears he's still alive. So listen, let's see what you guys think of this. So what are the odds that maybe the intention was to fake his death, right? And then so he gets up there and he thinks that they're going to pull off this like fake assassination, but they actually killed him. That's a possibility.
It's a possibility.
We don't know.
Yeah, I maintain. So my overarching belief is that he knew that he was not walking out of there one way or another. And that's just been like the clearest, concisest way. He knew that he would not be walking out of UVU one way or another.
You believe that? You believe he knew no matter what that day was it?
Yep.
I think he knew it was coming, but I was like, do I know that he thought it was that day per se? I go back and forth on that. What do you think, Matt?
So based on everything I've seen, there's like 3 theories that I think so far have not been disproved 100%. That's that he faked it, used a squib and all that. The exploding mic, the one on his chest, not the one he's holding. And then the FBI narrative with a specialized kind of bullet. That's only 3. Everything else kind of crazy, but could happen. I mean, I can say definitively that no one knows exactly what happened at this point except the people that did it. It's all just allegations, guesses, trying to put together pieces. So if anyone says today they know exactly what happened, then they're kind of full of shit.
Well, and that's why we continue to work on this, is because I believe collectively more minds are greater than one, but we have to work together. We can't yell and scream at each other and call each other names and be so divisive. I got no time for that. You can take that outside, but if you want to actually be productive and work on things, like come join my team and let's talk about it. That's how I feel.
Let's see. Jesse and Fire did a video on Charlie Kirk faking his death. Are you talking about the Elgeist video? We had Elgeist on my channel 3 times before he went on Jesse's channel.
I was going to say your channel did Elgeist first. And your interview was way more in depth.
Well, I think Jesse's goal, and I think one of his buddies is a physicist or something, but I think the goal was kind of like to try to poke holes in the theory as opposed to just presenting the theory.
Got it.
So it was kind of a different purpose. It was a good interview, though.
Someone just asked in my chat, basically his parents and sister tell me all by their actions. So I think a lot of people are feeling like what's going on with the parents, which I think we all feel like they've probably been threatened or told, hey, if you talk, you're going to ruin the investigation. I don't know what to make of it. They look
Charlie's
totally
parents or
beside
Tyler's
themselves.
parents?
Charlie's.
Yeah,
Okay.
Charlie's.
Because Tyler's parents haven't been involved. I mean, they've been talking to Tyler, but they're staying way out of it too, and they're like probably in
Mhm.
protection or I don't know, nowhere to be seen.
Well, that could be for a variety of reasons, but I think, yeah, patriotic housewife, your folks are asking about Charlie's.
Yeah, Charlie's parents is who they were talking about. Someone said I'm still stuck on Range Day Bros theory still hasn't been disproven. Are they talking about the 556 where he had the dummy dressed up like Charlie, had the pendant? I mean, it came pretty close, honestly, to the way the shirt moves. It was close.
So did Jordan Henshaw's recreation with the blood squib. So did
Mhm.
Chris Martinson's shot from the front.
Mhm. Yep.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a lot of them are close, but nothing's perfect, and it's really hard to decide which one's correct. But the Ranch Day Bro specifically was up and behind. So basically, got shot from behind on the right, and what you're seeing in the front is an exit wound. That's basically his theory.
I kind of
And,
felt like that was probably what happened too.
But his video went crazy viral. I think
Mhm.
it had like 6.5 million views or something like that. He could probably retire off of that video, to be honest. But yeah. So I wouldn't say we disproved it 100%, but there was a 3D model that was created, and there's the tent. And based on the line of sight from anywhere up on that building, there was only like one spot that would have worked. The spot that Range Day Bros said would work, they would have had to have
Mhm.
shot through the building itself, through the concrete. So it was impossible from the
Oh, because
exact
the
spot.
angle.
Yeah. Well, the angle and the line of sight and everything else didn't work at all. So I don't know.
People are asking, what about Tyler Robinson's parents?
I've just heard that they've been having like video phone calls or just phone calls with him while he's in jail, and that they were at trial. They were asked to leave. So I don't know I guess they're being supportive in that way after turning him in.
But what? Well, okay. The way I'm gonna roll you back on that one right there, trigger. Come on now. They did not turn him in, even based on the most recent court documents that were released and unsealed. Okay. What was said was that he was driven to the police station with this family friend who's a retired or former law enforcement officer and Tyler's parents. So I'm not so sure that the way that you classified that or characterized that, I don't know, that sounds a little unfair.
Can you write this down for a t-shirt too? Not so fast, trigger.
Yes.
Reeling them back in, keeping them in check.
While you're here, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Check out Kelly Raybon on YouTube, Instagram, and X, and check out Patriotic Housewife on YouTube and X as well.
You knew that was
Also,
gonna get me. Sorry.
no,
You knew
Kelly,
that was-
I'm with you because listen, the Dane police station lost the footage of him waltzing himself in and turning himself in, quote unquote. We're talking about a very secure building. How do you lose that? And you don't know what happened to it? Are you crazy? Where's the written confession?
Yeah.
Show me a picture, please.
Help.
We got nothing. That dude did not turn himself in. And if he did, I still don't believe he gave a confession.
Yep. And it I agree. Not gonna stand up in court.
Nope.
That's a good question. Did the parents ever get that $1 million reward? That was $1 million, not 100,000, right?
I thought
Yeah.
it was higher than that. And I also, do you guys remember hearing that supposedly Tyler Boyer's the one who gave that reward?
Say that again?
Supposedly, allegedly, Tyler Boyer was the one that put that reward out for any information.
I didn't know anything about that one.
Yeah, that was talked about in the very beginning. I'll have to see if I could find who talked about it.
Let's see. I heard he turned himself in because he was afraid they would kill him. Who is they?
Also, he was suicidal, you guys, right? But he was so worried about getting shot and a whole bunch of chaos, so he turned himself in, but he's on suicide watch because he's suicidal. Make that make sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think the pastor who handed Tyler and got the 100K. Was it the pastor that handed him in or the sheriff across the street?
Yeah, I
Or
think that.
was the pastor a sheriff or like an old sheriff or something? I don't know. Let me look.
Oh my gosh! And
I
if
feel
the
like there's
person
two
was act-
stories.
Hold on now. Tell me, I hadn't even thought about if this was a pastor. Oh goodness! Oh, now I'm thinking like, are
Well,
they
don't you
associated?
remember?
Are they associated with a Calvary church? Are they
Mm-hmm.
associated with a Rob McCoy church?
Right. But also, I feel like they're two separate stories. See what I'm saying? I think that we got a pastor went over there and said, hey, this looks like your kid. And then somehow the police officer friend got involved to like take him in. I don't even know. I see what I'm saying. We got to go back to the very beginning and comb through some of these things that they're saying because you guys, like, with all this information overload now, we have forgotten even the basic of the basic stuff. And we could probably go back and find a million more lies.
Have they ever released the name of this person who drove Tyler and who was the
Well, the
ex-cop
cop-
and all that?
The cop was he was on the what was it, the ID channel? He was an actor for a show on the ID channel.
Oh, the sheriff.
The sheriff was, yeah. That's really not a great line
on
either.
that 90 Days In, I think.
Yeah.
Show. No, I mean the one who's supposedly the family friend who supposedly, drove with them in tournament. I'm thinking now if he was actually involved, if he was a pastor or something, oh my gosh, that would
I don't think he was. I
throw
think
a
they're
whole
saying there was two
wrinkle
separate
in the
people
thing.
that were involved in that. Like the pastor went to his dad and said, hey, this looks like your son. And then I think his dad reached out to the friend who was a cop to be like, I don't know what to do. And then they basically told Tyler's dad or Tyler, like, hey, listen, it's better to turn yourself in because if they come to get you, there's gonna be like guns a-blazing type situation. And so that's when Tyler was like, okay, I'll just turn myself in. You know what I'm saying? I think both, it's two separate people, I think.
Yeah.
One, the video of him turning himself in was lost conveniently or timed out after 30 days.
Can you imagine that? They said, we don't know if our stuff archives or if our stuff, the tape runs over it. You mean, how don't you know that?
Yeah, like we're in 2025 at this point. Are you kidding me?
Crazy.
All right, we're going to finish out supers and then we will probably call it there.
This has
Let's
been
see what-
fun. Yeah.
It has been
Yes.
fun.
Let's see, we stopped on that. Let's see. Tony G, thanks for the super sticker. And Savannah Barberi, thanks for the super chat. I agree with Kelly. I do believe that Charlie was removed and he knew it. All right. Yeah, it's on the way out. Make sure you hit the like. Again, check out Patriotic Housewife and Kelly Raybon on YouTube and X. And Kelly is also on Instagram. And we appreciate all you having us. And we'll see you on the next one.
Till
We'll
next
see you guys next time. See y'all.